Okay, welcome back, everyone. Please subscribe and hit the like button. I am so excited because next week marks the sixth annual, right? Sixth annual
Six and yep.
Florida International Audio Expo. Did I say that right, Mike?
Yeah, we jokingly here call it the Florida International Audio International Expo International. Yes, no, it's the Florida International Audio Expo. Yes, I'm one of the show owners. The gentleman that does the management of the show on a daily basis is Bart Andier, and Bart's he's retired. He's a retired ship captain, so he's had the amount of time and dedication for the show, and it really is a full time job. I mean, we start planning the
Oh yeah.
show 2 weeks after the next show or the previous show ends. We start going for the next show, planning for it. It's a lot of work. It's contracts with hotels, it's contracts with vendors. It's a tremendous amount of organization, as you can imagine. Just think about the show guide, and I mean, imagine corralling 83 different rooms of gear and getting those guys to provide the right information for the show guide, you know and making sure it's all accurate, all kinds of things like that that go into it. It's a tremendous amount of work.
You said 83 rooms. Did I hear that right? You have 83 rooms
Three,
this year.
83. It is the biggest show we've had yet. We actually sold out of vendor rooms back in early November. So we sold out
Nice.
really, really fast. We did. And since that time, we've focused 100% of our energy on attendees coming to the show. So once we had all the rooms sold, then it was 100% focus on the attendees.
Well, I am super excited to see everyone at the show, which happens this February 16th
16, 17, and 18. Yep.
so- of next week. And that will be quite exciting because I know you are displaying on three different rooms. You're going to be displaying your top model, Claris's, right? The auditorium, I believe, right?
Yeah. So we'll
And
be
that
yeah, there's going to be 83 rooms of vendors. Suncoast Audio will be there with 3 rooms, and we'll have in the large room, the West Shore room, right by the bar. Ironically, we'll have the large auditoriums, and we have a special treat this year. We've been working since the previous show on building an active crossover. And
nice.
so this year we'll be able to show more of a proof of concept than anything else, although we've actually sold several, if you can believe it.
Wow.
But we'll be showing as a proof of concept that you can drive the ribbons, the auditoriums with, or the Studio Plus for that matter. You can drive them with the active crossovers, and it would be 6 monoblocks or 3 stereo amps or a combination thereof. So each ribbon essentially gets its own channel of amplification. And in our case, we're going to be using the VAC Master 300. So we have 6 Master 300 VAC amps that are going to be there, and we're super excited. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of tubes and a lot of heat. We know that, but we're really excited to have that kind of display. And we'll have the VAC statement phono, the VAC statement preamplifier as well. Of course, Kevin and the team will be there because they're local here. So
Right.
we're super excited to have that, and it's going to be really cool because I've actually never heard it. I've never heard the setup
Mm.
yet. It's that new, so I'll be hearing it for the first time at the show, and
So,
Florian tells me it's just like next level. Like it's just at a completely different level when you start having 3 stereo amps or 6 monos or a combination thereof, each channel driving its own ribbon. Complete game changer.
well, I'm super excited to hear that system. I've never heard anything so complex on my end, and I want to see what's possible once you go with this active crossover and all those monoblocks to see how much better the performance gets. To me, these cost no object systems are quite exciting, and I say cost no object with an asterisk because when we think about the price point of the auditoriums, that
Mhm.
isn't really a cost no object speaker when you look at the price tag, although it performs like a cost no object loudspeaker, right? When you're talking cost no object loudspeakers, I'm thinking of the M9s or M7s, WAMs, right? The big boys.
Right.
But your speaker, the auditorium, I believe it's 100 and
They're
what
146,000 a
what
pair, which is a tremendous amount of money. Let's not kid anybody.
it
Like,
is.
that's a lot of money. But if you read the recent review that came out last week by Roy Gregory on the auditoriums, I mean, he is comparing them to the cost no object speakers and saying
Awesome.
they're
Yep.
they're right there with it. And we're hoping that one day we'll get a review with the active crossover, and people really be able to see what is capable.
Now, a lot of effort has been made this time around. You and I had a conversation earlier about this, which is the fact that you are trying this time around more than ever before to include people from all walks of life, from all sorts of industries. You went out there and you essentially created a lot of marketing to
Yeah.
attract other demographics because one of the biggest complaints, which I also hear, is the fact that most people say it's the same people over and over and over again every show. And so
Yeah.
I know you wanted to change that perception going into this show. Tell us a little more about what you did this time around to bring new faces to this show.
Well, it's a great question. We've always heard the same thing over and over again from exhibitors to other show organizers to whatnot, saying the same thing. Oh, it's the same people, it's the same faces, it's the same folks coming year in, year out. Oh, we need to get new people. But then they don't do anything. So they continue to do the same thing, expecting a different result. So we sat down and we went over all the different things that we could do to attract new folks, younger folks, females, other individuals that are outside the hobby to come in. And so we started to look at how we can participate in watch shows or boat shows, or more importantly, where are the music lovers? Maybe they're not audiophiles, but where are the music lovers? And starting to look at more smaller venues that bring in artists, and those are the hardcore music lovers that are going to hear, maybe it's an artist that's past their prime, or it's an up and coming artist, but it's our goal to go after the music lover, and how do we bring them in? So we've been doing a lot of full page ads, or more in their show guides. We've been identifying smaller venues, musical venues around Florida, and taking out advertisements in there, but also things like advertising on the jazz music station, the radio stations, the classical music station, radio stations, and things like that. Really trying to think outside the box. How can we bring in folks that have, let's be honest, disposable income, but also individuals that are hardcore music lovers, and perhaps they're both at the same time. So we really wanted to focus on that, and we were trying to bring in a wide variety. And I think in past years we've done a great job, and I think in this year we're seeing, ticket sales are up significantly year over year. We're seeing currently 25% increase in tickets to females, and we've also sold over close to 150 tickets to individuals 21 and under. So we're trying hard, and we are going to the colleges and universities as well, and trying to attract a younger audience to come into the industry. So again, you hear all the time people bitching and moaning about, oh, the industry is not going to survive, we need to bring new people, but they don't do anything. They don't do
Right.
anything. So
It's
we're
true.
here, we're
I
doing
agree.
something, and we're bringing in the people to the show.
Well, I want to thank you, personally, thank you for that effort. I have never heard any other show organizer going all out the way you are, as far as having more diversity, including different groups. I believe students don't pay to get into the show. I believe
Correct.
spouses are also free, correct?
Correct.
So there
Correct.
is no charge for that. That's something that will entice those new faces to come in, because nobody
Correct.
wants to pay for something that they're not really sure of, right? Whether they're going to like it or not. But if it's free, I think more people are willing to come out and hopefully begin to love this hobby that we all adore, and
Correct.
begin to understand what makes it so special. Plus, you get to see new people, new faces. Now, I'm going to
Exactly.
ask Mike Sonko Stadio to take his hat off, his business hat off completely,
Okay.
and give me, what is it that you're excited to see, like outside of your own lines and your own operation, your own business? Is there anything that Mike the audiophile is excited
Mm.
to see or hear?
Uh,
Because that's a telltale sign for a lot of people that are going to the show. If you're interested in, in something in particular, I also want to hear whatever you have to say, whatever it is that is piquing your interest. So I think people also take note of what is it that you're interested in seeing.
Well, we have a total of four partners in the Florida Audio Expo. Bart, as I mentioned, does the day-to-day operations. I'm actively involved in the day-to-day basis as well. And then we have two more silent partners, John and AJ. Now, John and AJ both come from the DIY space. And whenever they get together, as you can imagine, we could be going for lunch or at a bar, it doesn't matter. And there's constant battles, as you can imagine, arguments, disagreements, whatever you call it, all about audio, all about, designs and things like that. Well, AJ has come to the show every year since the beginning, and he's brought his designs and he's displayed them. Okay. But this year, John is putting up or shutting up. He is bringing his designs to the show, and they're going to be on the same floor. And I believe they're going to be across from one another. So it's going to
Wow,
be a great battle to see those two guys again, both of them thinking outside the box and coming up with their own creative designs. So I'm interested to see how that. Boy, there's been a lot of trash talking. I can tell you, the past year it's been nothing but trash talking. So I'm really
that's
excited to hear how those two rooms compare and things like that. Outside of that, I really haven't thought about it too much. To be honest with you, I've just been really focused on our three rooms. We've
yeah, of
got
course,
the Magico S3, the new Magico S3s. I have to stop calling it the Mark III. It's the new Magico S3.
right.
With the Pass, so we're gonna have Pass X260.8s, XP22, and I think we're gonna have a XP17 phono stage there on display with an esoteric CD player DAC. No, it will not be the new SE. Everyone's calling about the new SE. They're not even shipping yet. They're not even out yet. So it'll be a KO5 XD. And then our other room, we're going to have the Clarisys Minuet with the new Hagel 600 and the Hagel CD player, the Viking CD player, and some lumens. So we'll have a Lumen P1 and the Lumen L2 will be on display there. Um, so really, I've been focused on that and kind of coordinating it. One of the things that we're doing in the big room, or we're going to attempt to do, and you can speak about this, Jay, is that we're going to have four giant Strom tanks. So my goal is to see if we can get those six amplifiers and the rest of the system completely off the, pardon my
Gr-
tongue,
the grid.
shitty hotel power. But as you and I have had this discussion that really battery power, something like a Strom tank, it kind of ends the debate of power conditioners. It really is. It's not to say the others are inadequate, but it is a fine line. It takes you completely off the grid, and you're running on complete DC. So it's a great way. It's a great way to go. So but yeah, that's what I've been focused on. I mean, obviously, I'll be walking around the halls and just like anybody
Sure.
else when I get a chance and see what is new. But I'll be relying on you guys to tell me what you hear.
Speaking of magical, you mentioned the S3 NK3s. Will we
Hmm.
see the M7 over there?
No, I don't believe the M7 will be on display. I think they're right now just getting started on shipments. We have a customer on your coast, on the east
Yep.
coast of Florida, that will be doing an install of the M7s here in about a month, I guess. And yeah, so we're gonna have just the S3, not just, but we will have the S3 MK3s, and I think they actually lend themselves better to a hotel room. To be honest with you. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I've made videos about the importance of having these flagship speakers,
yeah.
these cost no object speakers like the M7, the Chronosonics and such, to it just but to bring public awareness to the fact that speakers like that are very difficult to place in a room, and it's a disservice oftentimes to these manufacturers when you're placing these high caliber systems in rooms that are subpar. The power,
Mm,
to your earlier point, is not where it needs to be. You deal with room echoes, acoustics, and oftentimes what that does is create narratives that don't exist around the speaker. People get
correct.
out there and go to forums and start
Hmm.
talking what is really an in my opinion an unfair assessment
Hmm.
of a loudspeaker of that caliber. So I don't blame you. I'm assuming that maybe at some point in Munich we might see the M7 magical,
Yeah.
but I want to definitely see it. I may have to communicate, send an email to a lone wolf to see if there's anything I can do to listen to that M7. Maybe he has a customer, that I can travel to, or maybe make a video about
Yeah.
this loudspeaker. But anyway,
That
besides the M7, go ahead.
Magico's got a really good room in Munich. Actually, one of the best sounding rooms, year in year out. So hopefully, yeah, the M7 would actually. I think it would work really well in that room. It's a big room.
I've been very
Right.
open and vocal about the fact that what makes the Florida show so special is the fact that it can be a beautiful family event, right? We have the Super Bowl
Totally.
coming up, and then soon after that, we have Valentine's on Wednesday of next week,
Yeah.
and so think about coming out if you are a family, if you have a spouse, bring your spouses, your kids to the show. They don't have to attend if they don't want to. There are so many attractions nearby.
Hmm.
You have Busch Gardens, you have Disney. There are so many things, Universal, you name it.
SeaWorld. Yeah.
Everyone can have a
Yeah.
fun time. And the
Yeah.
weather right now is beautiful. Right now, it is gorgeous. I expect us to have amazing weather come showtime. And so, I want to thank you again for putting this together. I'm
No
happy to
problem.
see it continue and survive because I know
Thank you.
it's not easy. I know, Mike, it's a lot of work and preparation, 2, 3, 4 weeks of, packing everything up. You got Mike, you got other people in your corner that are, working around the clock to not only set up your rooms, but also help other brands that want to display with some of your products, right? Some of your
Yeah.
racks, some other things that
Yeah.
you loan that the
Yeah.
public are not aware of, Mike. They're not aware that brands, manufacturers come to you to
Yeah.
tell you, okay, we need this, we need that. Can you loan this to us? Can you loan that to us? And sometimes these are very last minute requests that
Yeah. Yes.
unfortunately you kind of have to get out there and do to support their efforts too, right?
Yeah.
So it's not easy. And I wish people got a glimpse of what it takes to put on a show like this, the magnitude of the effort that and all the moving hands, right? Everybody that has to collaborate to make it a successful event. Every time I've been there, and I have been there since I believe I didn't go the first year. I think I went the second year, and I have been there every show after. The last 3 years I've been there, and it's always been better and better and better. And that to me is a testament to your efforts and your skills, of course, when it comes to putting a show of this caliber together, and again continue to make it fun, entertaining, and now bringing new faces to this hobby again. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be the
Thanks.
key. I love what
I,
you're doing, Mike.
I think for your viewers, it's important to understand the logistics. If you're not local to Florida, for example, or in this area, then you're literally packing everything up and having it shipped to a warehouse, like a holding warehouse, several weeks before the show. Okay, so
Yep.
everything's got to be packed up, and we've got a logistics company. Rusty runs the logistics company, and he handles all the coordination for picking stuff up all over the US. If it's coming international, then it's getting shipped to one spot and then picked up by him, and he's warehousing it, several weeks in advance, right? And then I think for people to understand, the show starts Friday, but we start setting up Monday. So Monday night, everything can move into the rooms and we start setting up. The large rooms. The smaller rooms are typically Wednesday, but the large rooms, because there's so much to go on that goes on, we have to put up the pipe and drape. You know, the drapes that you see when you walk in the
Yep,
room is
I remember.
plain old wall, right? The plants, we have to get the plants ordered and get them in and get them positioned. The signage, everything has to go up. Then you start having to build the racks, right?
Yep.
And uncrating everything, setting it up. So it is, it's a week of pack up, a week of setup, a week of show, and then a week to get everything back and put it back into the store essentially. So it is 3 to 4 weeks of nothing but doing that. And as you mentioned, what we've noticed is my message out there would be to manufacturers and owners is that you got to get your staff moving on these things, start thinking about it in the summer, literally in the summer, and by the fall, September, October, they've got a plan in place. We got a call last week from a company I won't mention, and they hadn't done anything. They said, "Oh, we're going to bring our single product that we, let's just call it a DAC, okay?" And we were hoping we could just borrow racks, cables, amps, preamps, speakers from you. And I'm like, the show is next week. Is this for real? Like, come on. And they just had done no planning whatsoever. And so, what's that old saying, failing to plan is planning to fail, and
Yeah,
that's
I heard that.
absolutely true. So you've got to be thinking about these things and organizing it mentally in your head, in the summertime, and then really have a plan by the fall so that you're not last minute worrying about this.
Well, Mike, thank you for your time today.
No problem.
For those of you who
You?
want to attend a show, please go to the show's website, which is FloridaAudioExpo.com, and get your tickets. Okay. I encourage you to get out there and be part of this amazing weekend, February 16th through the 18th at the Embassy Suites in Tampa, Florida.
80 rooms of awesome gear.
How many floors in total?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I think 7.
7 floors.
Yeah.
Get out there, guys. Get your tickets, please, and come and meet me and everyone else who will attend the show. Mike, thank you for that work again.
Thank you.
Thank you for
I'll see you
putting this
next
show
week.
together in my backyard, and I'll see you next week, Mike.
See you
Guys,
next
that's
week.
all I got. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.